All right, everyone, what's going on? It's your boy Ray from Wrestle Rush. I'm joined by my guy Chris. Chris, say what's up.
What's up? My name is Chris, and I am 1/3 of the RW Wrestling podcast on YouTube.
You heard the man. And I know it's only October. We haven't even reached Survivor Series yet, but we are here to predict WrestleMania 2022 main events, matches, whatever may be happening on that year's WrestleMania. And we're going to see in a few months how many of these we got right or how many of these got wrong. Usually I'm pretty wrong on these, but hopefully I got a pretty good card in mind. So hopefully something good can come out of this. But Chris, first things first, I got to get your opinion on the main event of Crown Jewel. What did you think of the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match here?
So, unlike every other Saudi pay-per-view, this one fucking ruled. All right. I loved the drama with Lesnar and Reigns. Like, I hated their other matches because it was pretty much like, oh, this is part-timer versus full-timer. I didn't like that. Like, the first feud they had, fine. The second feud sucked. This one, because it's about Heyman, all right. I feel it.
I feel the same way, man. I feel like a lot of, other than their first match at WrestleMania, which I was there live for, by the way.
Okay.
I loved that match, but yeah, they had some really repetitive matches after that as well. I felt like they were really jamming it down our throats. But yeah, man, this pay-per-view ruled, and I think the main event was really great. And I think they had a great ending to the match as well, because they kind of had their out there with Lesnar losing, but they didn't really. They just left us on a cliffhanger still, because I think they're going to have a bigger match down the line, which we'll kind of get into in a little bit here. But overall, I agree with you. The show was great. Definitely the best Saudi event that they've had. And I'm looking forward to Survivor Series now.
Me too.
All right. So let's get back to predicting our WrestleMania main events. Let's start off with the women's side here. Now, let's start off because this is what my prediction was going to be. And now with the whole drama that's happening with the Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch thing, which I'm sure you've heard of. I think this kind of threw a wrench in my plan here. So let me start off by saying this. I thought they were going to unify the titles at Survivor Series here, with either Becky Lynch or Charlotte winning. And then at WrestleMania, we get a huge triple threat or maybe a four-way match between Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, and Bayley. But as of right now, that happened. The whole drama happened literally a day or two ago. So my plans have completely blown up. So now I'm kind of a little bit lost here with what might be happening at WrestleMania. Do you have any idea on what women's main events we're going to be seeing at WrestleMania this year or next year?
All right. So I'm going to go with, on the Raw side, I'm going to go Becky, Belair, and a returning Bayley who wins the Rumble.
Okay. I like that. A returning Bayley from winning the Rumble. I think really, I mean, if you kind of think about it, is there anybody else who could really win the Rumble at this point? I mean, that would really draw the interest of a lot of fans out there other than Bayley.
I mean, Shayna Baszler, maybe.
Okay, yeah, I could see that definitely happening. How about a Ronda Rousey?
Other than that, no. Ronda Rousey would be great, but I would rather see her at this point either, come back and do 4 MMA versus 4 NXT, but that ain't happening. Or if Ronda comes back, have her come back in that main event of WrestleMania and fuck over Becky.
That would be amazing. That would almost make too much sense. You know what I mean? That would make too much sense.
I got to think like Vince.
So that was on the Raw side. And what do we got here for the SmackDown side? Do we still have Charlotte Flair at all by any chance? Because we may not even see her.
We still see Charlotte on the roster. I will tell you that, because She's a big time player. They're not just going to let that girl go. And the thing is okay, yeah, right now she's got a little heat. I feel that. But at the end of the day, she's a moneymaker. Vince ain't going to just let that go. Even if Shad Khan goes, well, that's a contract you might be able to cut, pal. That's one of the people that I think that Vince will say, fuck you, that ain't happening. Just like if he tries to throw Orton out, Vince would be like, no, that ain't happening.
Mm-hmm.
So for SmackDown side, this one's a little bit tougher. I'm going to go maybe Banks and Vega.
You know what? That might be a really good prediction there, because with her winning the whole Queen of the Ring thing, I think she's definitely in store for a pretty big push here within the next couple
I'd
of months.
hope so, because she was very entertaining when she was in TNA Impact back in the day.
Super entertaining. But the only thing is, this is why I kind of had that suggestion for the unification bout at Survivor Series, is because I feel like a lot of these women's matches or these marquee women's matches are getting a little bit repetitive. Like I just feel like there's only so much that we can do now. And I feel like every pay-per-view seems like, oh, I've already seen this match before. So that's why I thought maybe we could have a unification bout, make all the women be able to fight each other in both brands. I know I'm tossing too many ideas out there, but I think that kind of just makes more excitement for it. And I think that makes the title, if it was unified, a little bit more prestigious, rather than having those two split titles and having 20,000 title exchanges in every other month or so.
Well, I 100% agree with that, but you got to think of realistically. I mean, honestly, they should unify the tag titles on both shows, and they should unify the women's titles.
I agree. I definitely agree with the tag title there.
Both divisions are just in the toilet.
You know what? Sometimes I almost forget that they have two different tag titles for each each brand. I always figure, oh, it's just the Usos are tag champs. I don't even, you know what I mean? Like, that's how forgettable those tag titles have become within these past few months, or a couple of years at least.
Well, plus when you have situations going on, like the champions get drafted to the other brand, and then all they do is, okay, so we're going to literally just switch titles like they did with Charlotte and Becky. I think that idea is absolutely stupid, because the fact is, okay, that gives Charlotte and Becky an extra title reign now, and there was no legitimate reason their other one ended.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. But if you're Charlotte, you can just be like, hey, that's awesome. I got another title reign for me. So
she obviously didn't think it was awesome.
I was going to say, obviously not. But if I was in her shoes, I'd probably be like, yeah, let's totally do it. Let's totally do it. I'm all for it.
I don't think she wants like her, what is this, probably her 14th reign now?
Who knows at this point? Who even knows at this point?
I don't think she wants her 14th reign to be just, hey, you were handed the championship. Just like when we reviewed that No Mercy show, Orton handed the championship.
Hey, we don't hate on that show though, man. That was a fun, ridiculous show that made 0 sense, and we all loved it. All right.
Hey, it made sense in the end because it was built that way. The title was just given to Randy Orton.
Yeah, there was a lot of it still that didn't make sense. Okay, so I think that kind of wraps up things on the women's side. Hopefully we can see some good stuff there, and I'm really excited because it's still so much up in the air right now, especially with the whole drama thing that happened over this past weekend. So we'll see where that goes. And we still got Survivor Series to go through as well. But let's get started on the men's side of things, and let's start with the Raw side. Right now, we have Big E as the WWE champion. Of course, he defeated Bobby Lashley for it. What's going on here, man? What do we have for the Raw men's championship for WrestleMania? Is Big E still going to be champ?
Big E will still be champ, but it's going to circle back to Bobby Lashley. It'll be Bobby Lashley and Big E.
Bobby Lashley getting his rematch. Now, is this okay? Let's clear the air here, though, because Bobby Lashley just lost to Goldberg. So he definitely, whatever you want to say about Lashley, he lost some steam, in my opinion, with that loss to Goldberg. So does Lashley have to get a win over Goldberg again to get another title shot? Or do you think that Vince is just going to say, hey, let's toss Goldberg into the title shot again so we can get some more eyeballs here and we have a big Goldberg Big E match?
Well, I don't think Goldberg's going to be thrown into the title match per se at this point. So Goldberg is going to be used. He's going to be used probably in the build up to Mania. And I actually think Vince is finally going to get that Reigns Goldberg match he wants.
So right now, in your eyes, Big E still champ by WrestleMania, and he's going to defend that title successfully against Lashley. Am I hearing that right?
So that's the part that's interesting. I think Lashley will beat Big E at Mania. So Lashley's going to get into that match by either A, being the second to last person in the Rumble, or B, he's going to win a number one contendership elimination chamber.
I kind of dig that. This is my prediction as well. I think the New Day finally implodes. I do think this whole Xavier Woods winning the King of the Ring tournament is going to make him a heel, and is kind of going to just make him turn into a very cocky heel at least more so than he is now. And I know they're on the SmackDown brand, right? Both Kofi and Xavier.
Yep. Yeah, they're separated.
So this might be my biggest, most controversial pick here, but I think this might be a biggest long shot, but I think Xavier Woods actually wins the Royal Rumble. And I think that's it's going to cause a huge stir within the New Day. And I think it's ultimately going to lead to a triple threat match at WrestleMania between the three. And the winner, I think, is probably going to be Xavier Woods. It's a total Hail Mary of a prediction here, but I think it's one that actually kind of makes sense. Wouldn't you agree?
It would make sense, but that's why it won't work, because it makes sense. That's not good shit.
And it may be, like I said, too much of a Hail Mary here, but we'll see, because in my opinion, other than Lashley right now, who on the Raw brand can challenge Big E for the championship? That would make sense.
I mean, right? Aside from McIntyre, who's already done it, there's really no other people that are in the main event spectrum, unless you wanted to make sure Kevin Owens doesn't go to AEW.
I completely forgot about Kevin Owens. That would actually be pretty dope to see Kevin Owens versus Big E. But I guess, I mean, it could be anybody, right? Anybody could win the Rumble. I mean, I predicted Xavier Woods. He's on SmackDown. So, but really, I mean, who? I don't even know anybody.
You got to make sure he's signed up by then, though. Otherwise, if you're giving Owens like a WrestleMania title match, you better make sure Owens is signed up before that happens.
Or we're gonna have another.
Don't be booking in your plans before that contract.
All right, so moving on to, well, before we get into the SmackDown Championship match, which we already kind of talked about a little bit, but is there any other marquee matches that you think we're going to be seeing on this upcoming WrestleMania card?
We're gonna see Randy Orton versus Riddle.
I agree.
RK Bro is going to be no more. AJ Styles is going to be in a marquee matchup. I'm guessing at this point, maybe against Damian Priest.
I was going to say Edge. I was going to say AJ Styles versus Edge.
I'm predicting that for a Rumble match.
Either way, man, nobody loses there with an AJ Styles Edge match.
No, or sweet Saudi Money 7. It could be that too.
Or you know what? We might have, for another Saudi match, we might have The Undertaker returning. Who knows at this point?
Hey, man, did you know that a couple years ago, Mick Foley said, if you give me Saudi money, I will recreate Hell in a Cell.
And I'm not mad at him for that, man. If the money's right, I would do the exact same if I was him.
Yeah, but you got to think about it this way, man. You cannot compare the two from 1998.
No chance.
To today.
No chance. But if you also have to think, if you were Mick Foley and you were getting paid how much money, would I mean, it's going to be hard to say no, right?
True that, but the guy's got no knees, man. I watched an episode of what the hell was it? Celebrity Wife Swap, and he literally was talking to
Celebrity wife swap. What year was this?
I can't remember what year this was, but he switched wives, I think with Piper actually.
Really?
But Foley couldn't even tie his own shoes. Like he's got no knees. His wife
is
has tied his
this
own
on
shoes.
YouTube or is this?
Yeah, I watched it on YouTube like a few years back. I can't remember what wrestler he switched wives with, but he did. And
Wow.
Foley was like having the woman tie his shoes because he can't bend down like that anymore.
It's
that damn bump
crazy.
He takes in every single match where he runs into the steps.
Yeah, so maybe it's a good thing that they didn't offer him that Saudi money. Well, that's actually a very good thing that they didn't offer him that money. But regardless,
option's still on the table.
It is still on the table here. What do you think if Edge? I see Edge wrestling AJ Styles at Mania. Who do you have Edge wrestling?
So at this point, I have him pinned in kind of a weird predicament because I don't have him in a match, but I have him interfering in a match.
Interfering in which? Any idea on which match we got here for Edge?
So Edge is actually going to interfere in the main event.
Okay.
In the Universal Championship match.
Okay. All right. And your prediction for the Universal Championship match, if I'm correct, was Roman Reigns versus Goldberg.
No. Roman Reigns is going to go against none other than the Great One, The Rock.
Chris, you and I both have the same prediction here. I agree with you as well. I think it's going to be Roman Reigns versus The Rock. But before we kind of dive into that really quick here, we forgot about John Cena. Is John Cena going to be wrestling? Because I think he is. But who do you have predicting here for John Cena?
My prediction is kind of a lame one compared to everyone else. What everyone else is going to say, but I'm going to say Elias because we need to finish this thing.
Haven't they been feuding for basically like 5 years now or something like that? Like on and off for like 5 years?
Well, because they did the thing for WrestleMania when Taker came back or came out with Cena and squashed him in like 2 minutes. And then the next year he did the whole Doctor of Thugonomics Cena. Then the next year they didn't do anything about it. And
so it only makes sense that they have a match, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, I wouldn't be mad at that. I'm a huge fan of Elias. And I think that'd be money as well. But I think it's going to be John Cena versus Finn Balor. And I think Finn Balor is going to get a big W over John Cena here. It's going to be a great match. It's going to be a great match. And if it's going to be on 2 nights, if WrestleMania this year is going to be on 2 nights, give these guys like 15 minutes, man. If you give them 15 or so minutes, you're going to have an awesome WrestleMania match here. And I think it's time to give Finn Balor another big push here, in my opinion.
Oh, and I even got a bolder prediction for Finn Balor. We're giving the Demon a cinematic match with The Undertaker.
Oh.
And Balor is going to defeat Taker, and Taker is going to be taken away by the Druids, and he's gone.
Wow. I like it, but I also hate it because it's so depressing to hear. Just think of the Druids just sending Undertaker away.
But he's passing the freaking torch.
I get it. But at the same time, I think we've seen so many Undertaker farewell moments at this point that it's kind of been beaten to death, to be honest with you. So as much as it really has, as much as I wouldn't mind seeing that, I just don't see it happening at all. And in all honesty, this might sound like I'm hating a little bit. I'm not really too interested in another Undertaker match at this point.
See, the only reason why I said it would be all right is because it's cinematic. Taker doesn't have to sit there and do a 15-minute match. He can do his own,
True
couple
that.
minutes here, cut it, couple minutes there, cut it. Do his thing.
Fair enough.
But it has to be Demon Balor. If it's not Demon Balor, then it's not happening.
All right. Well, we'll see. I wouldn't mind either way, but That's a pretty bold prediction right there, Chris. All right,
Well, I
so
mean, seeing as my other options are gone, meaning The Fiend and Alistair / Malachi Black,
hey, you know
I mean,
what?
that's the only one that makes sense now.
The Fiend still hasn't debuted anywhere else, so the option of him returning is still on the table at this point.
Okay. If they have Kevin Owens playing the Fiend character, I'm out.
I think we'd all be for it. It might be like another one of those Sin Cara things where they had like a double Sin Cara, right? Where they had a second guy play the character. We can just have Kevin Owens come back.
That's because the first one got hurt and then he sucked.
Yeah, he was terrible. All right, so our main event here. Did I ask you who's winning the Royal Rumble?
No. So the winner of the Royal Rumble is going to be surprise entrant Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Which
and the reason
to... Go ahead.
Now, the reason that Edge gets involved is to make sure the Usos stay out of that shit.
Okay. I like that idea. But then if Edge is interfering on behalf of The Rock, doesn't that mean The Rock has to win?
Of course. The Rock has to be the one to dethrone Reigns, because does anyone else look like they're logically going to do it?
The Brock Lesnar option is still on the table. And Brock Lesnar is actually is the main guy on the Royal Rumble poster.
That's true. He's the main guy on the Royal Rumble poster, but maybe it's because Lesnar is scheduled to face Reigns in the Universe title match.
That's another good point as well. So you have The Rock winning. I have Roman Reigns versus The Rock happening as well, but I have Roman Reigns winning here. So I guess we're kind of 50-50 on that one. But if The Rock was not to show up at WrestleMania, I think this is where we get another Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match. As much as you probably don't want to hear that.
I don't want to hear it just because we've seen it so many times. Because we've seen it at WrestleMania 31. We've seen it at WrestleMania 34. We've seen it at Sweet Saudi Money 1.
Yes.
We've seen it at SummerSlam one year. That was the one where Strowman was out there at ringside of his Money in the Bank, and Lesnar fucking chucked it up the ramp.
All right. Well, so we both have Roman Reigns and The Rock. I guess where does this leave Brock Lesnar then?
Brock Lesnar not on the card.
Not on the card. Brock Lesnar not on the card.
Yep.
All right.
He sits out one payday.
I don't see that happening, man. This is Brock Lesnar we're talking about. I mean,
I think Vince is going to use a lot of his dates up before that.
He's going to be at WrestleMania, and I tried thinking of like who's he going to face. I was like maybe Big E if the Xavier Woods thing doesn't work out, but I just don't really have a place for him as well on the card. But I'm not going to go as far as saying that he's not going to have a match. Maybe it might be another Lesnar McIntyre match. Could we see that? Maybe.
I'd rather honestly though have Lesnar and Lashley just because I want to see those two go at it.
That would be great too. Scratch that. You know what? Scratch everything I just said. Lesnar and Lashley. That's got to happen at WrestleMania.
Well, just like we need to see one of Roman Reigns' next opponents for the title be Jeff Hardy.
Hey, you know what? Jeff Hardy is a childhood favorite of mine, and if Jeff Hardy were to win every single title in the company, I wouldn't be mad at all. So, yeah.
No, I won't be mad at all either. Jeff Hardy's a personal favorite of mine. It's just he's one of those guys that on SmackDown now, he would make sense to fight Reigns at that New Year's pay-per-view they want to do.
That'd be awesome too. And can we also just say how much Jeff Hardy's music, no more words, music elevates him to just a different level?
Oh yeah, I love that song. That's why when they brought it back, I was amazed. I was happy.
I think everybody was. I think that brought Jeff Hardy from like right here to like, okay, all right, now we're ready to see Jeff Hardy back in the main event, which probably, let's be honest, if it's going to happen, it's going to be him losing to Reigns, but we'd all pretty much still be happy to see him back in a main event match.
Hey, man, if it was up to Triple H, he would be, because Triple H has a soft spot for Jeff.
I think he put him over like so many times during.
Well, he put him over for the IC title. He put him over in that. There was a match that they had at Unforgiven or Armageddon one time that he
We're
put him
testing your
over in.
memory here, man. Armageddon 2007, right?
Yeah, because that's when he faced Orton at the Rumble. He
Right.
also kind of put him over in that triple threat with Edge when he won the title.
You know what, man? You're missing a match there. You're missing a match.
I'm missing a match?
Yeah. This is where the wrestling nerd, like, I just know so much useless information. I want to say
so do I.
No Mercy 2008. I'm gonna Google it right now before we sign off.
He didn't.
Did he win?
Didn't win at No Mercy. No. They did a situation where Hardy hit the Swanton and was gonna pin Triple H, but Triple H did the whole backslide thing. So it was like,
okay,
you're this close.
You're right. You know what? I just Googled it right now. So your memory beats mine. It was actually, apparently it was for the WWE Championship. I don't even remember that much.
It was. Just like at the next month, Unforgiven, they had the championship scramble, and Triple H won that.
You know what, man? Next video, we're going to talk about, we should review Unforgiven 2008 because I got a soft spot for that show. I
do too. I loved it. We just reviewed that on our podcast a couple of weeks ago.
Well, you know what we're going to do? My next video here for all the fans watching, Chris, you're going to be back on here. We're just going to talk about those scramble matches on Unforgiven 2008 because those are some enjoyable matches there. But
that's why Chris, I say bring that concept back.
They definitely won't, but that'd be awesome.
No.
I appreciate you taking the time, man. Until next time, sir, we're going to run this back. I got a lot more ideas here and it's going to make for some great content in the future here.
I'm down for any time.
All right, sir. Until next time, this is Ray, Chris, sign off.
Peace.
Peace out, everybody.